hapa kule kuna watu. Kama tuwashikia.
Just live updates from Nakuru. A journalist has been injured and also
under siege. Hey Africa, did you know that you can earn money from YouTube without being a YouTuber? Even in Africa, because we are neglected and thrown to the side. Because we are developing countries and so we don't actually get good revenue from YouTube, from advertising. However, we found a way to make money from YouTube without being YouTubers. And I can't show everything on this ad because this is an ad. However, I have a free training. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how I, who grew up in Canada and came over and now live in Africa, I've discovered how to transition my income to here and earn more than I did over there, and how we broke $1 million online, but how you can actually earn 5,000 USD per month while in Africa, staying in Africa without going abroad, even if you have no degree, no experience, no access to traditional American banking or North American banking, working with the solutions we have here in Africa. If this is something that can help you, that you want to earn money from YouTube without being a YouTuber, making money with the African infrastructure that we have without the infrastructure that is available and easily accessible for Canadians or North Americans, but coming here now as a Moroccan, African, now I have to work with the solutions I have now. So I've been working really, really hard to figure out how I can earn the income that I used to in Canada as an African, and how I can bring the solutions to Africans as well. See, I've made over 6 million USD over the past couple of years in the American market with my Canadian infrastructure and payment gateways, which is very easy. But now as an African, with African solutions only, how can this be done? I pull back the curtain and show you exactly how I plan on dominating Africa, and how I'm going to help my African brothers and sisters who have less opportunity but more potential. And because we are hungrier, more ambitious, I'm going to show you guys exactly how we are going to dominate the market in Africa, and how you can do it as well and earn your piece of the pie of the YouTube economy, the short form video economy, and the online economy without the tools that they have. But we can do more than they can because we're hungrier, we're motivated, and actually if you tap into this opportunity early on, you get to be a pioneer and have early mover advantage and change the course of your life and that of your family and your community. We built over 30 water wells in Africa doing this. So listen, do not be late. We only have 500 spots available. Click on this ad, sign up, make sure to save your seat. Do not miss out. Make sure you have enough internet connection. Try to be on Wi-Fi, not on data. And try to come on a computer if you can, not on your phone. If you're going to come on your phone, make sure you turn off all the notifications. Okay? It's going to be a life-changing program, and I cannot wait for us to make change in Africa together.
All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak, and the conversation begins right now. The people versus government, and they're having the young legislators with us here in studio. Honorable Kaliba Mrs. here, Saboti Member of Parliament, Honorable Njeri Maina, Woman Rep Kirinyaga, and Honorable Esio Kenyuri, nominated Senator, all part of the Kenya Young Parliamentarians Association. Also, Eric Omondi is here, youth activist, Kasmuel Makoure, youth activist, and Richard Keno, a lawyer. Thank you very much for making time. So, there's something the president said when he was dissolving his cabinet. This is what the president said going forward.
I will immediately engage in extensive consultations across different sectors and political formations and other Kenyans, both in public and private, with the aim of setting up a broad-based government that will assist me in accelerating and expediting the necessary, urgent, and irreversible implementation of the program that we have, including other radical measures and programs.
Jerry, what should a broad-based government look like?
First of all, Trevor, I think going forward it's very important we see a cabinet that is competent, that is accountable, that has people who have a proven track record. And it is also upon us to ensure that we do not want to pinpoint that the president or the appointing authority ought to have maybe this particular person. Because at the end of the day, competency must be on the table. And I was in a certain forum led by my very good governor, Anne Waiguru. And we had a conversation where issues were raised that, or rather concerns, that I had been giving a breakdown of the expenditure of government at the county level and the allocation for maybe the governor, the area member of parliament, and myself as a county MP. And I was missing the drift, but then I just caught on it that people were very averse to accountability. you know, and these are public resources. And what the Kenyan people are saying moving forward is that accountability must be on the table, whether consultations are being done, because we can do consultations, but then we are not having the parameters that are the irreducible minimums required of someone holding a cabinet secretary position. And I know we have seen even on social media forums, and we've had some brag, you know, that they had a D+ and they made it to the cabinet. And we know that there are some who even have issues with their certificates or how they acquired their degree certificates, and that is a parameter that must be met for you to be a CS. And Parliament also as an institution must also put its foot on the ground, because Parliament is the one that does vetting. So as a member of Parliament, I must be accountable to my people and to Kenyans at large of any action I undertake, because Article 1 of the Constitution says that sovereign power belongs to the people. And I think sometimes politicians, maybe, we get elected to these seats and think that we exercise our own conscience and independence of mind, forgetting that we actually represent people on the ground. So that is what I want to see. Is this a wake-up call by the going forward? And it is a wake-up call to every politician. And you see, like the case scenario I have given, maybe I have a very different style of leadership, because I walked down my people that this project costed 2 million shillings, and I can actually explain to a coin how I have appropriated or used your funds. You know, maybe perhaps we cannot be told how the county referral hospital, how much it cost and what went where, so that we know where public resources are going and how they're being utilized. Okay,
Kasmuel, is the president listening? Do you feel heard as young Gen Zs?
I don't need to feel heard by the president. I need the president and government in general to do what it was appointed to do. We did not appoint them to listen. We would have selected them to be podcasters if we wanted a listening ear. Because I have not seen at any particular point the president make a deliberate effort to listen to the youth. And I say this because in the protests and demonstrations that we have led and orchestrated, the people the president has invited to the table has consistently been the clergy. It has been the political class. And that shows me that they are just trying to find ways in which to divide us. They have consistently infantilized this movement. That is why they insist on tagging it the Gen Z revolution. While this is a Kenyan exercise, that's why they've insisted to call us our children. They've insisted to go the route of appealing to us from a parental angle, refusing to acknowledge the fact that this is a political undertaking that we are doing. The president is not elected to listen to us. He is elected to lead a functional government, which he has proven that he is not interested in running. Because, be it as it may that he has dissolved his cabinet, there are several cases on graft and other gross violations of the Constitution that the people in the dissolved positions are getting away with. There are several demands that we have asked for that are going to get away. There is a list, for example, for former CS Ababu Namwamba that we were asking, what is a delegation that is going to Paris? And that is the same. The person who's coming in next will have to account for it, because we have decided that we will hold this particular government accountable. So we did not, it is not a matter of listening, it is a matter of good governance. And there we do not, I personally do not have such great faith in the current ruling class and by extension the president.
But he had an X-space with the Kenyans.
Under what circumstances?
And also he's called for a multi-sectoral forum starting next week from Monday to Saturday.
The X-space was a knee-jerk reaction after we lost several lives. No life can be equated, no building is almost as valuable as a human life. We had blood split on Parliament grounds. We had brain cells floating on the tarmac. That's only when that he would come to the X-space. And I think the X-space was also a very disrespectful move, in the sense that if you say that you're going to appear at a place at 2 p.m. as a president who has all the money, all the technology, all the intelligence at your disposal, and try to posture, and I think it was a very deliberate psychological move where the president was posturing as an old amiable figure that I do not know how to use this technology, and you would see how shaky the camera was, the angling. I do not think that the president was doing this from a point of honesty. He came to the X-space, and the X-space, he was supposed to join as a listener. he does not summon us, because what we do on the X spaces, they are our barazas. It is not and when we claim we're leaderless, we truly are leaderless. When you come as a president, now we have to play respectability politics. When he says that he will hold multi-sectoral discussions starting next week, he has consistently shown that he is not interested in the voice of the masses. And I say this in confidence that the youth is the majority of the population of the country. He has not shown goodwill, because when we say that we want to demonstrate peacefully, when we say that we want the war on graft to be cracked, he does not honor those. We have proven time without number that we can be peaceful, but the directives that the policemen have seem to be very contrarian to the kind of nature of the youth that we have in the country. Okay. So as much as it might seem that he is making steps, he is making baby steps in the wrong direction. If you zoom it out and look at it objectively, the president, I insist, is making these moves out of self-preservation and not the goodwill of the country.
Okay. Essie, what does a broad-based government look like? What should it look like? Because that's what the president is now grappling with.
First, Trevor, I'm happy we agree that the people of Kenya are sovereign and we are merely their employees. Trevor, first I want to be vindicated I've been making contributions at the Senate, if you listen keenly, and I was one of the senators on government side to call the president to cracking the whip. Being on government side does not mean you do not own responsibility for your actions, and that's what transformative leadership is about. The president in the past few weeks has actually conducted very radical measures, which we as a country now need to give support for him to effect those changes. Because look at this, why are we where we are? We are where we are because our politics is tribal. We campaign by giving tokens to people. So I want to laud the Gen Zs for changing the conversation and for the president to elevate that conversation higher by inviting a multi-sectoral forum. I also want to indicate that partly this is because our focus is on the central government. As a senator, we have devolution where we have counties. Yeah. I was very happy when I saw young people saying we are occupying counties. Occupying counties is a good move also, because then we are moving the pressure from the national arena to the counties where there is grand corruption also. And Trevor, it's not about having one person in a position that you can address the challenges we are grappling with as a country. It's about creating a conducive environment for all citizens to thrive in whatever they are doing. Because if you give me a position as Okenyuri, that's just me. Whatever contributions I might make might not satisfy every other person who's around me. But the moment you give a conducive environment to every other Kenyan who's bestowed their hope in us, we are going to change the whole conversation, Trevor. Yesterday I was moving in the Senate the Protection of Livelihood Bill, which seeks to protect people in informal trading who are in every day we see being mistreated in big towns, Nairobi being one of them, Trevor. So when we actually say the Gen Zs are agitating for transparency, good governance, I'm a perfect example of good governance. I can account for every single legislative proposal I brought in the House. I have the civic education bill, which I believe an enlightened citizen is able to make the right decision. If you're able to make the right decisions, you do not need to rely on your representation to take responsibility. Okay. Now look, I said we mobilize along giving people tokens. Yesterday the president actually pronounced the public fundraising appeals bill being ready. That's a major milestone in trying to curb corruption that we've been largely talking about as young people. Yeah. And I want to also congratulate the young people who've come out in the streets for calling out political opportunists. Because when the Gen Zs came out on the first day, the issues they were candidly talking about issues we see on a daily basis.
But is it true really that that bill against Harambes will help cut down on corruption? Are you saying that it's because people wanted you to be part of the Harambes, that's why you are involved in corruption?
That's not necessarily the point. That's not necessarily the point, Trevor, because I'm actually giving a short brief of why we are where we are.
Yeah.
Because, Trevor, if you didn't want tokens, then you would vote for a leader who's giving you issues.
Okay.
Let me give my example.
So there's also the people involved in this.
The people who are watching me should judge me on whatever I've presented at the floor of the Senate in the short time and in the avenue that I've been given. It shouldn't be on how much I give you, because if I represent you well, if I make laws that support people who are looking up to us, that's the best way we are changing this country, Trevor.
Okay. Yeah. Fair point. Let me bring in Richard on this. Richard, what does the broad-based government look like for you?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe to begin, I would like to do what we call reasoning from first principles to understand how this broad-based government can look like. And by reasoning from first principles, I would look at it from the perspective of a political philosopher called Niccolo Machiavelli, who talks about two ways in which governments are formed. And he says a government can be formed in two possible ways. Number one is when the nobles, the elite, come together, look at one of them, they take him to represent their interest. That's number one. Number two is when the people have the initiative and they look for one of them to represent their interest as their leader. I'm saying this because I want to put it in context, and I'm excited. We have politicians here. I would like us to understand politics from their perspective, because they're in the shoes. And maybe in this perspective, I would like to point them to the 33rd president of the US, Harry Truman, who said that when I was young, I wanted to either play piano in a whorehouse or to be a politician. And to tell you the truth, there is no difference. So I would like to hear from the politician if actually there's a difference or it's the same thing.
There's a difference. I'm a pianist.
Let me hear what Caleb has to say about this. So Caleb, what does that broad-based government look like for you? Because there's a concern from the younger generation that this is just the usual politicians who will just be moved around as musical chairs.
Very true, Trevor. There is a big issue we are grappling with as a nation, youth population bulge, and not just Kenya. This is an issue that is affecting Africa because Africa is young.
Yeah.
And the leaders have tended to move away or shy away from addressing this issue, facing it head on. Youth population bulge will be here and is actually the cause of the Gen Z revolution. They always say youths are the trustee of posterity. Those are not my words. Those are the words of Benjamin Disraeli. What do we mean by youth being the trustee of posterity? The moment we capture and nurture this population and listen to it, that is the time we'll have solved half of our problem, be it politically, economically. And most countries who have faced this problem, even US during the JF Kennedy's time, there is what we call the Peace Corps, where it took young people across the globe. He formed a program where young people were sent to all countries, whether as nurses, needing to interact, to learn. When they come back to their country, they have done that experience you are talking about, the Iraq experience. They have everything. You walk to Germany. The other day I traveled to Frankfurt, and I happened to go to a factory that manufactures John Deere, the brand of the tractors. And I found a young person coming out of that factory. When I interviewed him, he said one is in college, number two, he was very young. In fact, he's now those Gen Zs of German now. From the factory, he went directly to BMW. That's where now the shock of my life. If we have people in Grogon here, in the factory, Upper Grogon, anatoka hapo, na hiyo uchafu yake anatoa overall, anaingia kwa BMW. What does that show you? the youth are empowered from very early. And that BMW, he never bought it. The government gives him loan so that you work in the factory, the stipend you are given, you are also paid slowly until you finish. What is bothering the young people is that they are ambitious, they have the energy, they have the charisma, they are techno-savvy, they are innovative, but there is no environment for growth. The moment now you capture that, it's not about having a clean cabinet, a competent cabinet, is that are you addressing the issues of the young people are raising? And the cabinet you are going to bring, is it going to raise that issue? In fact, I don't know, people tend to say, because you have a PhD, you are competent. That is far away from what we are supposed to have. Can we see a vetting process of a cabinet minister for youth who is going to tell us how are you going to solve the youth problem? Don't just go there because you come from Azimio that you are going to make a coalition government. I think the
Do you think there's going to be a coalition government?
Broad-based means it's a coalition government. Which country do you live in?
You're the politicians.
You want a politician to say what? This is a coalition government you're talking about.
But will that answer what the Gen Zs are saying? Because
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. We are an ethnically or heterogeneous society. We need to incorporate all ethnic in the government. That is aside. Fine, we can do that. But at the same time, as we do the coalition government, are we also looking at whether these people are going to address the issues? If they don't address the issue, the Gen Z, I belong to the millennial. But trust me, the Gen Z started this revolution, but they have incorporated the millennial. The parents are there. It is now everybody. So people are wondering, if you bring a cabinet that is not going, it doesn't matter whether it's a Mama Mboga. This issue are now over. These are political promises. You can wait for 2027 and judge the president upon what he made. But we are saying, how do we solve the issues of the country? It's the youth population bulge.
But that's what the problem is. You're saying that they're just political promises, but the Gen Zs and the youth are saying they're not.
That's what I'm saying. Those are his, those are Ruto's. I don't belong to Ruto's party. In fact, I said I'm the only member of parliament who has never met Ruto, neither shared a platform with him. Because his principles are mine, are like day and night. We'll never meet anywhere. Until he shares my principle. And I know if he had my principle, we'll not be here as a country. Because I've been consistently, if you look at my political journey, I've been consistently, sometimes alone, trying to point out areas that I think this government is going wrong. Every country has restructured itself economically. The youth population bulge can only be solved. It is actually directly proportional to the economic status and your development path. Just the way the Singapore, the Malaysian were at some point with Kenya, and then they took off. So can you digest why did the Singapore take off very fast? We were the
human rights, especially the police and the executive at large. It's important we respect the rule of law, we respect the constitution, and we develop and appreciate the spirit of constitutionalism.
This. So I was very impressed when Gen Z said, even for your advisors, you have so many people who are just crisscrossing on the corridors doing nothing. We want that trail to get back to how really government is being managed because of issues of public wage bill and precisely the efficiency and effectiveness of government. So
the county assembly need to do its job to oversight the governor, and this is the only way, and we need to ensure that we stop we need to get away from this aspect of NGCDF, and I want to repeat it again because this has made us focus when you ask
that have been raised by citizens.
Thank you, Kevin. You're watching the live pictures from Nairobi Central Business District, where events are at the moment unfolding. Let's listen.
live. Unapiga live sasa hivi.
Na tumegia. Ndio kifoni ile kama maji kwa wapi?
Media. Mambo ni mzuri. Tuangalie kazi ya mama. Ndio. Angalia gari hiyo ni alikuja. Angalia kazi.
Thank you.